What's going on, y'all? This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 7, episode 20 from Zen to Sin. Okay, this is. Look, I really don't feel like doing a review, but I just really wanted to come on here and talk about, what happened. And it really wasn't much that happened, so it's not going to be a long video. The girls are still in the Philippines. Let me get the insignificance out the way, first of all. Everybody just really want to talk about the Phaedra and Kenya meet and sit down and all that stuff. So, while the girls are still up in the Philippines, traveling, doing all they doing, you got Nene, she's in New York, she's getting fitted for the Broadway's play. And it was one part when she put the first dress on, and then Greg like, oh, look at all that ass or some shit like that. Girl, Greg, just sit down, and the dude that's making the dress, he just sitting there looking like, the fuck is this, okay? But at one point, Nene got a little emotional because she was, the guy was telling her this is like the stepmother is the verb of the show and all this stuff and yada yada yada. Don't be nervous, but she is nervous because it's not like a regular TV show where you could just do your lines. If you mess up, they can just shoot it or whatever. No, this is a Broadway play, a big thing, and you have to be on point. And she got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, whatever. That's basically Nene shit. So let's get back to the trip with the girls. And once again, everybody is getting along. And I will. Hold on. I'm not going to be a bitch. And, oh, it is the Shameless season finale. Okay. I'm not going to be a bitch and be like a hating ass bitch and be like, whatever, with the girls getting along, because I actually like the fact that they all getting along right about now. I don't care if it's fake or not. Sometimes you need break up in all the drama. Sometimes you just need to look at some positive TV a little bit, even if it's for the cameras, okay? It can't be drama all the goddamn times. We want at least one season where they can go out on a trip and actually fully enjoy it. And goddamn it, we got it, okay? It wasn't no fights. They made up. They had a good time, even Phaedra came around to the girls, even Cynthia on that when they was finna go to the volcano and, they was getting on the horses. You got Phaedra trying to coach Cynthia to get on the horses and all that shit. When they was on the bus and they was talking about, the between Portia and Demetria who can twerk the best, that little comment that Phaedra made about twerking and all that stuff and Christian girls or whatever the fuck she said, won't do that and all that stuff. Phaedra, come on now. You who like to hang around with strippers, okay? You who like to put it out there that you a little freak bot. Girl, if you don't get your ass on, and that little conversation when she had with the pastor, Phaedra, see, I think this is what irks people about Phaedra. Like, I don't have a problem with her because I can call a bitch out, and I know Phaedra ain't perfect or whatever, but I can call a bitch out on their bullshit, and when Phaedra's cool, she cool. When she not, she not. But I can see where everybody be saying that she fake it because she's always throwing that holier than thou shit in there, that biblical shit, that I'm a Christian, I'm a Southern Belle shit. Ooh, let me go talk to my pastor and get some guidance and bless you Lord and hallelujah. All of that, and then go right back and do something else completely opposite, and it's just like, that's why people look at you kind of side eye, okay? I get it, because I do the same thing. I be like, hell yeah, Phaedra. But wait a minute. Seriously? You calling them devils and demons and shit, and bitch, what the fuck you do? The exact same goddamn thing. Okay, so you're not perfect. So, I guess I get where y'all coming from. I read the comments. I be like, some of y'all are so adamant. Like, the way that y'all be going in on these characters, because that's exactly what they are. Characters. I'm like, shit, did they do something to y'all personally? But whatever. So everybody was having a good time. Okay, question. No, not question, observation. When they was making fun of each other. They was making fun of Portia and her walk, Portia and her ass and her clothes and stuff. When they went to the little hike on the horses, at first I didn't see that the little thing that Portia had on. She said, hey, they was like, the Queen of Thailandia, and she embraced that shit, and I didn't take it as, they was being shady towards her because she was laughing along with it. And it's a good thing that, we can joke about ourselves and have a joke where we all can laugh about it, and I'm glad she took it that way. And I thought she just had on some black shorts in a bra or whatever, like, I guess it was like swimwear. Well, I didn't know until they got up there to the volcano when they was finna do the golfing thing that the shorts was fucking see through, and she basically had on. Bitch, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't mind it, but I didn't know. So hey, it is what it is. At least I don't care what she had on, and I know people probably gonna go in the comments or whatever, but they on fucking vacation, and if that's what she wanted to wear, that's what she wanted to wear to be comfortable. It is what it is. So they get back to the hotel. They going to another location. They going to the market. Now, when they was trying that fruit, I wouldn't have spit it out in front of them like that, okay? I felt that was just a tad bit a little disrespectful because you don't want to come to somebody else's country and their culture and eat their food and then spit it out like, bitch, no, this shit ain't shit, okay? I would have kind of kept it in my mouth for a minute, then turned my back and walked away and then spit it out when no one could see me, okay? But, other than that, it was cute. Ashley would not have been there touching no big ass crabs or lobsters or whatever the fuck that shit is. Ashley don't do stuff like that, okay? No. But Ashley would have, Portia once again. So we just gonna be up in here going to the market. Where's Tom Ford and all that shit? Bitch, you go Tom Ford shopping in the States, okay? You're in another country, alright? Embrace the culture. Embrace the atmosphere. Embrace the scenery, okay? Go to different places besides fucking shopping for hot and shit. The same shit that you do while you up in Atlanta, okay? Come on. Let's do something different, okay? Let's gather it in, soak it all in. So after that, they was gonna have a little sleepover slumber party, and when everybody get in there minus Kenya and Phaedra, the only person that really came in dressed like they was finna have a slumber party was Demetria, okay? And, they was making fun of Portia again. Then, like, she dressed like she about to have a call. But, I mean, if that's what she go to sleep in, that's what she go to sleep in. And, everybody still had a good time. And that little funny, right over there. Okay, leave it right there.
That's not what happened in the Bible.
That funny reenactment between, my bad, y'all. That little reenactment that, because everybody was like, where's Portia? Not Portia, where's Phaedra? Where's Kenya? They finna go have their little talk and all that stuff. And that funny little reenacting that Portia and Candy did. Portia being Kenya and Phaedra being Candy, and Candy had Phaedra down pat when she got her ass up and left. So that was cute. And everybody was just laughing and giggling, and it was nice to see. I guess they put this positive episode on because it is Easter for y'all. Christ has risen, and he did not rise for all this bullshit to be going on like this. So I guess, yeah, just throw it over there. Thank you. And little kids. She interrupted me one more time, but so Kenya and Phaedra finally had this sit down, and they have this sit down, and Kenya was like, basically, and you know what? I honestly feel like if they would have been had this conversation, this shit wouldn't have went the way that it went. Phaedra is right to feel the way that she felt. Kenya kind of right to feel the way that she felt. But Kenya, you have to understand that you played into a lot of stuff, and the reason why a lot of people feel negatively about you. But regardless of that, Phaedra was saying some dirty shit about her. Kenya, it's understandable why she was saying it, but Kenya, you said some dirty shit too. Didn't you make the AIDS comment at the reunion at one point? Since saying that Apollo been in jail or something, check for AIDS or some shit like that. I don't know. So I can't sit here and fault one person and not fault the other. Both of them played into the bullshit that was going on. And like Phaedra said, at the time it was hard because she gotta believe, she's in a marriage and she gonna trust what her husband say, and it was just a lot of stuff going on, and she was like, it's not just you, it was just everything that's been going on. And there was an apology from Phaedra finally, I guess, that, satisfied Kenya enough. And Kenya did come in respectfully and was like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna just let you start, and I'm gonna be quiet, and I'm gonna just, because I'm working on this, letting people talk before I overtalk them or whatever. And at first, I thought shit wasn't gonna go well. Even though we seen the preview, I thought something shit was gonna happen, because Phaedra drank that water, and I said, "Girl, you better stop playing." She said, "Hold on, bear with me." But everybody was coming down with something, so that's what happens sometimes when you travel. But she was like, "Bear with me," and she said what she said. Kenya gave a little rebuttal, or whatever, and there was some tears shed. She was like, I can't change that, okay? I did call you. It did when she was like, when King was like, you been going around calling me a whore. Like, it's like y'all was trying to take down my reputation. I was like, baby, you kind of contribute to all of this stuff, but I understand where you're coming from, but your actions contributed to whatever, the reaction that you got or whatever. And, Phaedra was like, but look, I didn't call you a whore not one time this year. That shit took me out. I just said, what? But, it is good that they actually, I don't know if this real, and I want to know what the timeline is, because I remember earlier in the season, remember that episode where Phaedra had met up with Demetria in the studio and she was shading the fuck out of Demetria, and I was tweeting about it and all this stuff. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with Phaedra? Why is she acting like this? And Kenya, she had retweeted me and favorited the tweet and then responded saying, that's how people do and all this stuff. It wasn't a positive thing. It was like going against Phaedra, like trying to call her out on her bullshit. So I'm like, maybe they just filmed this shit because back then you still talking shit about her. So maybe y'all just, I'm gonna put it up to that, chalk it up to that. I don't know if they've been going back and forth lately because I don't follow neither one, and I just don't care. But hopefully, if this real, it can cut down on the bullshit, because like everyone says, it's been 2 goddamn years. Let the fucking shit go. It's tiring. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and live our life. They actually said, when Phaedra said we can work on our, because at one point when they did get together, they were trying to be friends, and then some shit happened that just rubbed Phaedra a little bit the wrong way. Kenya kind of overstepped a little bit, and Apollo overstepped, and it just rubbed Phaedra the wrong way. And then Phaedra played into it as well, and by saying what she had to say, which is understandable, like I said. But it is what it is. They came to a little agreement that, hey, we're not going to talk bad about each other. We're going to be cordial. We're going to try to work on the friendship. I said, wait a minute, you're going a little bit too far with that friend. See, they throw this friendship word around too much. We're going to work on being nice and cordial to one another. That's what they should have said, okay? But I get it. And, Phaedra invited King to the church. King was like, girl, I can't come to church with you right now, but, you can give us prayer. I said, oops, okay, It was nice. I can honestly say it was nice seeing, no drama for once. Then, they were sitting next to each other at the little sleepover. When they had breakfast before they left to go on the plane, they were sitting next to each other. And then that's when Claudia brought up the Nene thing. Has anybody spoken to Nene? Portia was the only one that said she told her the gist of what was going on. And she was like, if Nene was here, she would have fit right in and everything, and would have went along with everything. And even Portia had to fucking laugh at that. Candy laughed first, and then Kenya. Candy and Kenya probably laughed at the same time, and then Cynthia and Portia started laughing too. Because we all know that shit wasn't true. Because Nene still got her feelings over the way that therapy session went. And if she would have came now, I don't think she would have been big enough to bury the hatchet or whatever and move past and talk it out. Because on the preview, Claudia and Cynthia, they was at some little, food donation thing. They was helping serve some food or whatever for a cause, and they was trying to make small talk with Nene and see how she was, and Nene was just ignoring them, being a little girl. No, and put it out in the comments. If Nene would have came, do you think that conversation with Kenya and Phaedra would have happened? I don't know. Because like Candy said, Phaedra and Portia would have been, cackling around her. So hey, that was the episode. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And I'm finna go watch Jesus. I hope y'all had a happy Easter. And yeah, I'll see y'all later. Peace.